Biology chapter 18 theory video 2. Now earlier we discussed about the two different types of organisms, eukarya and prokarya. Eukaryotic organisms have developed cell structure, developed nuclear structures. Then prokaryotic organisms have less significantly developed cellular structure. So that is in their genetic material is not encased in a that is the basic difference. In prokaryotes the DNA structures are not found inside a developed nucleus. Then in 1970s when studying different organisms living in hydrothermal vents, that is the underground volcanoes and such areas, they found some prokaryotes living in so these are extreme environments obviously, and they found some prokaryotes, but they were a little different from the prokaryotes because they had some eukaryotic qualities as well. So as a result, they named them extremophiles, and they are not very typical of bacteria. So when they did studies on them, they found that the genetic coding for RNA that make the ribosomes were more like those of eukaryotes. So as a result, they shared features of bacteria as well as eukaryotes. So this resulted in the requirement of developing a new domain. So these that is to find the differences between the extremophiles and typical bacteria. Because the domain is at the top of the hierarchy, the prokaryotes were divided between the two domains, bacteria and archaea. These archaea are in the prokaryotic group, bacteria and archaea, and then eukarya were the other rest of the eukaryotes were in eukarya group. So these archaea live in extreme environments, most of them. For example, hot springs and deep volcanic vents in oceans, right? They are also known as black smokers. And when there is a high concentration of salt in lakes, also we can find these special sort of organisms. And also there are some of these prokaryotes, these archaea, who live in extreme environments, and also they produce methane, and also they cannot survive in places where there is oxygen. So they are not adapted to living in the normal conditions that we perceive is the best for us. So there are many unusual enzymes in these, and they are actually quite important in identifying this is actually kind of an intermediate party between eukaryotes and prokaryotes. So that is something that you must understand. However, they are not limited to extreme environments. Then there are some of these organisms in the natural or the normal biosphere as well. These organisms are part of the planktons in the ocean. So you know about planktons. Planktons are the ones which the whales feed on. Some of the whales actually. So they and the killer whales and so these animals actually feed on plankton. So that is something that you must remember. Then archaea, most of these archaea have more characteristic features similar to eukarya than bacteria. Uh, so as a result, it is understood that the bacteria from the group of bacteria, archaea was separated long time ago, and they have gone through several stages of evolution of life, and as a result, uh, the archaea and eukarya develop later on from the prokarya. I hope you understood. If you have any questions, please ask. Write down a note on this. 3 domains of living organisms have been identified: bacteria, archaea, and eukarya. Domain archaea was identified recently, and they include extremophiles, within brackets, organisms living in extreme environments. They have characteristics common to both bacteria and eukarya. Leave a line and write. Archaea are thought to have separated from bacteria very early in the evolution of life and have evolved to have these characteristic features. I hope you understood. If you have any questions, please ask.